afternoon everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name's Robin and today I am going to be showing you kind of random stuff around the place. I have a lot of seedlings coming up, which is exciting now. I'm also designing different garden beds in different places, and I also will be harvesting my lavender today. So those are the things that I will be showing you in this video. We live on about a quarter acre of a property and we're in a rental property as well. It's been raining today, which is so nice for the garden, or else this vlog would pretty much be me watering the garden and talking to you, because it has been so dry in the past few days here around the Brisbane region, and I've been watering every day just to keep the plants happy. So I'm going to get on to harvesting some of the lavender that I have growing, and I will show you how I do that. So this is the main plant that I have here, the main lavender plant, and it has quite a lot of flowers on it. It's generally finished flowering. Some of them are starting to dry off already. So I'm going to be taking most of these off. Lavender's quite possibly one of my favorite flowers. I know some people don't really like the smell, and my mom's actually allergic to it, so I haven't really been around lavender a lot in my childhood, but I absolutely love the smell and I find it really calming. Great for before bed to put it in a diffuser. So some of these have got double flowers coming out from the sides, like this one here. And some of these, because they are doing this one's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to leave some of these just to have a few flowers for the bees as well. So it's pretty simple to harvest lavender. I usually harvest just under these two new leaf sets and just chop it off about an inch below those with some sharp secateurs, and then you get that. So I can take off these bottom few leaves and then tie it up all in a nice bunch. I went to a lavender farm in Tasmania with one of my best friends, and basically fell in love with lavender there. It was an amazing farm. We went to a few, one where the lavender was kind of dying off, and then the other one had some still in bloom, and just the smell from mass produced lavender is gorgeous. And they had like lavender, had a lavender latte, which was a nice little purple drink, and like lavender shortbread, and the flavor as well of it is, the only way I could describe it is it's a floral flavor. But it's a really delicate, beautiful flavor that's really nice in cakes and shortbread. So I'm really excited to experiment and see what I can do with the little buds in my cooking. So that's the amount that I got from this little bush here. As you can see, I've still got quite a few leaves on here. I think I'm going to strip some of these leaves off just so it's easier to tie. But you can pretty much just tie this up in a bundle like this and hang it up to dry in a cool, dark place. And in about 2 weeks or so, it should be fine to be completely dry. And once it is dry, all of these little tiny, it's hard to see, but the little tiny buds, you can strip them off here and use it in cookings or in oils or however you want to use it. So I am excited for that, and it smells amazing, so would definitely recommend growing lavender. There's honestly not too much to show you today. I'm not going to be doing a garden tour or anything like that, but I will show you an update on how my seedlings are going. So last video where I was sowing my seeds, I was sowing them pretty much right where I'm standing, and then behind me, this is my kind of messy setup that I have. I have this stand here, which is where I had a lot of my seedlings on, and once they actually come up and sprout and germinate, I move them all onto this table here so that they can get a little bit more light, and then once they've grown a little bit more, they actually graduate to down the end there where they get more full sun. So the reason I do this is so that they can slowly adapt to the conditions a little bit more in the outside temperature, so that I can then plant them in the ground. So the only ones that haven't really come up yet, actually I have a few, I think I have a few little tiny tansies coming up. The tansies are taking a little bit longer, and echinacea, which I thought those two would. Same with the comfrey. They haven't sprouted yet, which I also kind of had suspicions. It's been pretty cold. Some of the catmint is coming up now, and these Swan River daisies, which is this one, and the basil, they were actually down on the very bottom level. And the other night we actually got some really cold temperatures that got down to about 2 degrees Celsius, and they struggled to say the least. So I don't have high hopes for those ones. I may have to re-sow. These ones down here kind of managed to do okay. I slowly got some little celery popping up. My Chinese mustard greens are coming along, and my Chinese celery have also popped up. Never grown either of these three, so I'm excited for those. I've transplanted some of my, what are they, paperbark daisy, I think. They're an Australian native and they're pretty hard to grow, to be honest. And lots of flowers are coming up. My red cos also struggled with the cold temperature, but I've been putting the lid on at night and that seems to make it a little bit better. And all of these ones are doing okay. My lemon coriander is all sprouting. Sorrel coming up, chervil. The dill didn't really make it very well. I have one that did, and the others have all kind of drooped down a little bit. They may come back, we'll see. My asters are going well, and my sage have finally started sprouting, which is exciting. I do love sage. All of these seedlings, I've potted up some of them, and they're all doing well. So I've got more green cos here. The green cos had a much higher germination rate than the red cos, which is interesting. The Chinese broccoli is doing well, the spinach and the pak choy doing really well. They got starting to get a little bit leggy, which just means that they didn't have a lot of light, so that's why I've brought them over to this side so that they can get more light. And endive at the back. I'm really excited for endive because I've never grown that before. And then all of my herbs that I have on standby if I want to give away for presents or to friends or do some trading for seeds. I don't exactly need these, but I will plant them if no one wants them. So got a lot of parsley, some marigolds, which I will be planting out, dahlias, which I'll definitely be planting, chamomile, Hong Kong broccoli, which is going really well. Yeah, more parsley, coriander and borage at the back, which is all doing really well. So other than raising seeds, which damn takes a lot of time, I am preparing all of my beds for planting all of those seeds because it's easy to get carried away with seeds, but I need to have my beds prepared before I can plant them. What I've been doing is kind of just measuring out some different beds. I've got a bed here. This is the big in-ground patch. The plan is to have a nice little flower bed up the front with tall sunflowers covering this fence and flowers at the front. So I've planted some cornflowers and some stock in there. I've got some calendula and alyssum. Planted some daffodils there on a whim that they may come up, but we'll see. So this area is doing pretty well. It's happy to have a bit of rain. I'm also just covering a lot of areas that I have amended the soil. So I have dug this up and worked through manure. I'm just letting it sit for a little bit. And I also built a compost bin yesterday. Really makeshift. Really makeshift. It's made out of 3 centimeter hold animal wire. Just one big roll that I've rolled around 4 stakes. I'm probably going to add a few more stakes in, and this ground is so hard, so they're going to need to be staked in a little bit more. Pretty much what I did, I put in the stakes, wound the wire around, and it does have a door as well. This actually opens up, so if I want to turn this pile, I can. This compost pile here is mainly for bigger stuff from the garden, and as you can see I put some lemons in there, horse poo from next door, just to have an area where I can dump things in a contained area that I can either use to break down and actually focus on building a compost here. It will generally compost over time, but I'm not actively making this a hot compost. It's going to be more of a cold compost pile that will take a while to decompose over time. Our other compost bin is full and I'm waiting for it to decompose, so a lot of our kitchen scraps are going to go in here for now if they don't go in the worm bin. lemons and worms don't really work too well, so we have a massive bush lemon tree that has produced so many lemons, and our freezer is full of lemon juice, so we're pretty good with lemons for now. And I should probably also note, most of these had actually been chewed by possums and birds, so I didn't particularly want to eat those ones. It has started to rain a little bit now, so perfect timing. I will show you how my seedlings are doing inside, because I am actually keeping some of my seeds inside, which is a challenge when you have a cat, to be honest. But they are secure at the moment, and they're doing pretty well. I don't think I've actually ever filmed inside my house, but this is my house. The kitchen is over there. I'm in the dining room right now, and down below here near the dining room window, I have all of my tomatoes growing. It took about 5 days for them all to start popping up. They're getting a little bit leggy now, so I'm going to put them in another room with a bit more light without the lid. But all of the 8 different tomatoes that I have here have all popped up. I think the Roma tomatoes are doing the best. So the tomatoes that I'm growing this year, I'm growing quite a few because I love to experiment. And okay, so this is the problem when you have a cat and plants. This is Annie, by the way. She's 5 and a bit months, and she's chewing my tomato seeds. So we're gonna go put her away so that I can show you what tomatoes we're growing. Come on. This is Annie. She's kind of a half tabby, half white kitten, and yeah, she's a rescue cat from RSPCA, so we adopted her when she was about 12 weeks old, and she's very sleepy at the moment. Say hey. Say hey. Which room do you want to go in? This one? Okay. Bye, Annie. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. So the tomatoes here, these are all of my, these are all of my bigger tomatoes. So no cherry tomatoes are in this lot here. But I'm growing Brandywine Red, Tigerella, German Johnson, Beefsteak, Moneymaker, Tropic, Roma, and I never know how to pronounce this one, Grossless Yellow, I think. And yeah, I'm basically growing one of each to see how well they do. I am going to give away some of these seedlings that I don't need, or sell them or trade them. But I've never grown tomatoes where I am located right now in southeast Queensland, so I really want to see which ones are most disease resistant and that can handle the heat as well. In here I also have some Cape gooseberries or ground cherries, some jalapenos, some Californian Wonder capsicums, and some Hungarian sweet red that they haven't come up yet, but I did plant these a few days later than these, so pretty happy with how these are going. And I'll show you my cherry tomatoes now. Then in the office room, which has pretty decent light as well, I didn't have another cover for the seedlings like I do outside with the other tomatoes. I really need a cover for Annie to not get in the plants, and we closed this room off. She's not allowed in here because she loves chewing cords. It's her favorite hobby, so we don't let her in here. These I planted a few days later and nothing has come up yet. I think this also might be a little bit slower because it doesn't have a cover, but anyway, these are all my cherry tomatoes that I'm growing. I'm growing the white cherry, pink bumblebee, cherry cocktail, black cherry, atomic grape, tomato, what is that? Yellow cherry, honeybee, and the yellow pear. I'm going to experiment with these and see which ones do well as well. Some of these aren't quite your really small cherries, they're more of a grape size. And then I've got all of my green okra and my red okra. Nothing's come up here yet. And then another chili, the Hungarian yellow wax. So I'll keep you updated on all of these. I'm hoping they're warm enough in here overnight because they are right next to the window, but we shall see. So now the sun has finally decided to come out. I've already done an outro, but I'm going to do another one because the lighting is so much nicer. I have my string of lavender that I've done. I have stripped some of the leaves off, and then I've just tied some twine around it and a little hole as well so that I can hang it up inside in a cool dry place, and hopefully it should be dry in the next 2 weeks or so. I also wanted to say I also have an Instagram page that I will put up here where I post a lot of my daily gardening adventures and things that I get up to with my PhD and student life, I suppose. So have a look over there if you're interested in seeing that and some more garden updates. But until then, I will see you in my next video, and happy gardening. Bye!